What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, and I am about to be moving around in this kitchen. Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and I don't know if I'll put this rib on the grill or the oven. Deshaun, never mind. I see it. But I got a cabbage. I'm gonna cut that up. Put that in my put that in my crock pot, and I'm going to also, I'm sorry, I'm going to also, I'm going to do this rib, I guess. I don't know how I'm going to do it, whether I bake it or whatever. I don't, like, it's really nice and hot out there. Um, it's kind of humid here today. Um, I don't know, I guess I'll do that. I got some yams. I'm gonna go ahead and use those before they go bad. And maybe a little small pan of mac and cheese, something quick. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got on a headscarf and all that, or I would take the camera off. But honey, y'all, I don't do all that great. You feel me? I think I want some music on. Y'all think that YouTube will have a problem if I put some music in the background, even though it's not my music and I own no copyrights to it? Let me see if maybe I'll put this on here. Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream. Man, 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 like it's but a dream. So yeah, let me do that. Put that on. I did before I start cooking. Maybe I should do this. Let's do this real quick, y'all. We'll do two things. Hey, Sugar, how you doing, Sugar? How you doing? It's so good to see you. You know what? If you got a second, come up. I want to get your opinion about something. I'm gonna drop this link to you. If you got a second, come up. I'm gonna show the link. It's actually two quick stories that I want to do. So if you have a second, it probably a good 10 minutes of your time. Pop the link and I'll be right back. But every time I play some music, YouTube want to trip about it. And I hate that. But I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, I want to play this little story. It's actually two little stories. And I want to get your opinion about it. The first story is a follow up to what I was talking about yesterday. And it was a story about the young lady that, hey, my love. Hey, how are you doing? I'm doing good, babe. I'm so glad you popped up. And I'm going to keep my promise and not keep you up here any longer than you want to be. So I'm gonna do two quick little things. One
Okay.
again is a follow up to the story that I did yesterday
Mm-hmm.
about I might have been there before about my niece's friend who um, left her 2-year-old son, adorable girl. And I tell you, this is a perfect little boy. Left her with her boyfriend.
Oh God.
Yeah. And he beat the baby so bad they thought he had been beaten with a bat.
Oh my God.
So yes, so I think it was Thursday. They took the baby off life support and he passed.
Oh my goodness.
And so um, they got the fella.
Mm-hmm.
This is the I'm getting ready to. I'm going to share this movie real fast. Not movie, real.
The
It's
video.
yeah. It's not a video though. It's the article. I
Oh,
couldn't
okay.
couldn't find a video on it. Um, and okay, so my screen acting stupid. So I couldn't find a video on it, and so I am going to share the article. And I'm going to ask you what do you think about this because this is going on a lot. So can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. I can't really make it. I can see it.
Well, I'm going to read it to you so you'll have no problem. So in Detroit, a 2-year-old boy is dead after suffering blunt force trauma to the back of his head and his spine, allegedly at the hands of his mother's boyfriend, authorities said. Lawrence James Powell, 27 of Detroit, is charged in connection with the death of Xavier Jones, 2 of Detroit. Powell is the victim's mother's boyfriend, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office announced. On Wednesday, August 17th, the victim was privately taken to a local hospital for his injuries around 11 p.m. Detroit police officers were dispatched to the hospital and arrested Powell. It is alleged that earlier that day, at the defendant's residence at the well, we need to put that on there. Xavier Jones suffered blunt force trauma to the back of his head and his spine. The child died on Friday, August the 19th. Powell was arraigned on August the 20th in 36th District Court on first degree child abuse, while the prosecutors awaited for medical examiner's report. Bond was set at $250,000 cash surety with GPS tether, house arrest, and no contact with the victim's mother if released. On Tuesday, August 23rd, the prosecutor's office will proceeded with additional charge of felony murder. Powell is scheduled to be arraigned this afternoon. Now, this is the problem that I have. There was another story that I hadn't reported on yet, but it happened in Michigan as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the situation was a young lady, 35 years old, had gone to get a restraining order against her estranged husband. The judge denied the restraining order. Subsequently, this man came, and not only did he kill her, he killed her 13-year-old son, her mother, and then turned the gun on himself.
Wow.
With this young man that just killed this baby, he is being charged with felony murder. He's child with aggravated child assault or child abuse, and he was given a $250,000 bond.
Yeah, I was listening to that, and I think that's absolutely crazy because you have some people who will do way less than that and have like my friend's son. I remember he was sitting on $1 million. First, he had a no bond, and then when they finally gave him a bond, it was $1 million, and that was on a drug related um charge, right?
Hmm.
So I'm not understanding a
And
quarter million dollars on a child.
isn't that crazy?
It's
But
very crazy.
not only that, but a GPS tether with him giving his word that he won't leave the house or have any contact with the baby's mom. Now, if this joker kills, this is felonious assault, or no less. First degree,
Right,
which in Michigan, first degree murder means that it was premeditated. You had intent to
right,
kill the baby. Okay. Um, the severity of the injuries was that he was beaten so bad they thought the baby was beaten with a bat, but he was beaten with his closed fist.
oh god. Mm-mm.
So my thing is, we look at this Nature Boy situation, and he's sitting on no bail,
Right, right,
no bail at all. Not that he needs one, but I'm
right.
saying it's like
I
you
get
said,
what you're saying. It's like,
that this his crime was any less severe because if you follow him, if you know, you know that he is very abusive and deadly physically. So
right.
he
But
did
all
something
those ladies are consenting adults that choose to be there versus where, and I'm not taking
exactly.
away from domestic violence or any form of violence.
We agree
I'm
with
just saying
that
that this baby didn't have a choice
and
at
have a
all.
choice. Did not have a choice. So I'm like in a lot of situations. There was another situation a couple of months ago, and this happened not far from me, where a young man was released on bond and he got out and he killed his child's mother, his
Right.
mom, and his stepfather.
Mm-mm-mm.
And they caught him after he tried to after he set the house on fire, trying to cover it up. The only way they knew what was going on is his mom got out of the house and got across the street and begged, cried out for help. And when the neighbor came out, she still had the knife in her.
Oh my God.
And she died a few days later from her injury. He killed his own mother. To a,
Right.
but after he got out of on bond for assaulting his girlfriend, his child's mother. So my thing is, we got to do so much better.
Right. It's
Lawmakers
that
have got
so
to do
many
much
things
better.
fall, so many situations, people fall in between the cracks. And then it's the system that's not right either. Like, I had this story that I talked about with my neighbor, that used to live two doors over from me. And the lady, she was very neglectful towards her two daughters, and a lot of things that was going on that just did not make any sense at all. Like the kids weren't eating, the mother would leave them with strangers, and I personally called CPS
Mhm.
and made a report or whatever. They came out to the house, and that's when I found out that legally, technically, if the child doesn't have any bruises on them or anything like that, like a teacher is reporting that the kid is, abused, they cannot, you don't have to open the door for them. If there's proof of abuse, then they're supposed to come with a police officer. Then at that time, you have to let them in. But other than that, if it's just somebody where they're concerned or whatever, you don't have to let them in. And so she ended up getting locked up, and they went to go live with her mom while she was, in prison. So she had two boys previously before she had the two girls. She gave both of the boys up at birth, and they were adopted by her mother. When she had the girls, her own words, she had the girls because she wanted to find a place to live, or she needed a place to live, and she was trying to get Section 8. So I guess she figured,
Baby.
huh?
She was using the babies as income.
She was using the babies or whatever. So after this or whatever, they went to go, stay with her mom or whatever. Then her oldest son end up beating the sister and R-ing her. And so yeah, the grandmother was gone to the store. So the grandmother lived in DC. She lived in Southeast. It's still in the news. Like if you
Your
look it up, you'll
this
still
happened in
see.
your area?
Huh?
This was in your area?
Yeah, I mean this was years back. So it happened in DC, in Southeast Washington DC. But at the time, I lived in Prince George's County, and that's where the lady lived 2 doors over from me, right? So the little girls would come over my house, and I would feed them and stuff like that or whatever.
Mhm.
I stopped letting the little girls come over because they would say a lot of inappropriate stuff to my youngest son.
Mhm.
And I thought to myself, with the stuff that they were saying,
It had
somebody
to
has
be what
to
they
be
were
doing this stuff to
saying.
them, because they were being very detailed when it came to like sex. And I'm like, no 4 and 5-year-old should be this detailed.
Wow.
So in between that, the mother letting them play in the hot car. I went to my cousin's house one day. My cousin lived up the street. And I'm like, what are they doing here? And my cousin, like, these little girls? I'm like, yeah, they live 2 doors down from me. She was like, the neighbor downstairs had met the mother. The mother said she didn't have nowhere to live. Could she take her kids in for a while? I'm like, yeah, they got somewhere to live. They live two doors over from me or whatever. Long story short, after we had got the news, of what had happened, when the grandmother had went to the store, and when she came home and saw what was going on, she then tried to clean it up, try to get a little girl a bath, try to, doctor her up or whatever. Once it got out of control, where she realized, now I can't do nothing. You get what I'm saying? She
Mhm.
took her to the hospital. She lived for about 2 days, and then she had passed. So they, at this point, then they let her mother, get out of jail and all that kind of stuff, because now, whatever her petty charge was nothing to compare to that. And when I heard the way the mother was talking, it was like the whole family, it was a cycle of abuse. It was generational. Like her mother allowed it to happen to her, she allowed it to happen to her kids. And I'll never forget, I called the CPS office and I was screaming at the top of my lungs, and I was crying, and I was just going ballistic. And I was basically saying to them, like, you could have saved them.
Right.
A friend of mine was like, well, at the end of the day, they was with their mother and horrible things were happening, but they were still alive. They went with their grandmother, and then, this happened. But I think either way, I think it was just a matter of
It
time
would have
before
happened.
something would happen.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna tell you the craziest part of it all. So I called them, and I just went crazy or whatever. I found out that my neighbor, who then lived across the hall from me, because it was 4 apartments, per floor or whatever.
Mhm.
So I found out that my neighbor across the hall, she was a teacher. She had also called CPS. They didn't do anything. So I wasn't the only one who had called. Somebody else had called. I don't know if
And
anybody else in the neighborhood called.
teachers have to report.
Huh?
Teachers have to report abuse.
Right. Yeah.
Wherever they
Well, I guess mandated reporter. So, but at the time, so she did report it, because she was telling me that she lived directly next door. So she was hearing stuff through the wall that the father.
oh,
Yes. If I would have known that during the time, I probably would have. Me and the lady got into a fight actually in my living room. But if I
oh,
would have known, that lady would have told me that, it would have been even worse, right?
imagine.
So after, when she passed away or whatever, I called them, and I just, went ballistic. And then that's when they explained to me like how it works, that you can't automatically just come in somebody's house. and all this other kind of stuff like that. So later on, I'm thinking, did this boy went to prison? Because he was 14 years old, the brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, he never ever went to prison. He was in a mental facility. A little bit right before he turned 21 years old, they let him out. This gets worse.
I'm scared of
A
that.
friend of mine that also lived in the neighborhood, she worked at social services. So the the boy was his name was John. His name
Mm-hmm.
wasn't in the paper because of his age, but I know, I know who he was. His name
Yeah.
was John. So John came in there with his girlfriend 8 months pregnant, and I guarantee you that girl never ever knew that. Well, I don't know. I'm assuming she didn't know his past, and I think that's something that should change too. No matter what age you are, when you commit uh um you kill
I know
somebody, and on top
things
of
of
it,
that
and you
nature.
crime on
Things
top
of
of
that,
it,
yeah.
it should be documented, because you then come across that person later on in life and you don't know all of this history comes along.
But they are
And then,
supposed to register, right?
well, you're supposed to, but because he's a child, I guess he was a child because he was 14 at the time.
Mm.
No, he didn't have to register, because even him killing his sister, he's not listed as a, you can't look that up and see that he killed somebody because of his age at the time.
Girl.
So
And so,
my thing
you
was,
let me say hi, Deanna, baby. I'm sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. I highlighted your name so that you would know I saw you. But I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt Miss Shelley while she was talking. But I'm so glad you came to see. I feel so honored. I feel so honored. I'm sorry, Miss Shelley.
oh no, you're fine.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy that it's like, even when you try to do the right thing, you then have the system, which I get it. They don't want to just come and snatch kids and take them out the house, but I don't think they even do a good job of checking to see,
Mhm.
what's going on. And that story has been ingrained in my head. Like, whenever I hear about something happening to kids, it always takes me back to that
Right.
situation, because that was the first time that I had ever been to the funeral of a child. And I said, I don't ever want to go to a funeral of a child ever again.
Yeah.
Now, I have made contact with her sister. Her sister was given up for adoption, and she doesn't have a lot of memories of her childhood, which I think is good. You know what I mean?
Mhm. She might
So,
have breast memory, or you know what I'm
right,
saying. So hopefully it does not come back in her personality or her character in some type of way. Because sometimes that happens. You know, you
right,
see those memories, and then when they come back, it's through your personality, and it's not until you go through therapy or something like that you are reminded then what that what that is and what it was. And it can be tormenting, for people. But I hope she, yeah, I hope. Oh, goodness, but yeah, that's just it's just awful, and I just think that the lawmakers and like the officials have to be a little bit more uh, strict about allowing these people to walk with a tap on the wrist after something like
right.
a violent nature. It used to be where I don't care who you are and what, if you committed or were accused of committing a violent offense, you're gonna sit there. And
Right. And they
you
will do it again. I mean, 9 times out of 10, if they did it one time,
and
especially to that magnitude of, like, like with her death was internal bleeding.
mm,
So that type of, like, the amount of force that the person had to use, the story you're telling me about, that they
mm,
thought it was a baseball bat. I mean, can you imagine? Like, that's That's crazy.
That's
To a
absolutely
2-year-old, even if you're going to discipline them, a 2-year-old, a little pop on hand, a little tap, you know what I mean? A little something like, but that, no,
wasn't
close,
his
to me, that's
child.
close this.
That wasn't his child.
Right, it wasn't his child, right? So you don't do it at all. But I also believe that mothers also need to stop leaving their kids with these goddamn boyfriends.
Period. Now that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother. Hold on, baby. Hello.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah,
So
I think that's part of the problem. And then the other part of the problem is, even if you're the best mother in the world, depending on where you're working, I mean, how much are you making that you can afford to pay $250 a week on childcare?
yeah, I mean,
Some
see,
people not even making that every week.
but I mean, I don't care if you don't have. And then in this case, all of her family lives in New Jersey, and she's here in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
So it's like I know that she probably didn't have anyone, but your boyfriend is still not an option. This is a guy you just met 3 months ago.
I know
This
you lying.
no, 3 months ago, and this is not his child. One thing about people, I don't, if it's not their kid, and even if there's their own, a lot of people don't care for your babies like you would.
Right.
There was another young lady. This is happening too much. Another young lady, same area right here, not too far from where I stay. The young lady left her baby with a friend of hers, a good friend of hers, a
Mm-hmm.
best friend. She calls the girl at home and says that he is he's sick, he's not feeling good, and he's having seizures or something. She get home and the girl done beat the baby so bad she picked him up, shelves,
Oh
and
God.
threw him into the wall, slammed him into
Oh
the
my
wall.
God. Mm-mm.
Baby skull was fractured and everything. She killed that girl's baby. She admitted to it.
Wow.
And the girl, absolutely gorgeous. The baby was gorgeous. Now, I don't say that has anything to do with it, but a lot of times you people are jealous of the way you look
Right.
and the way your baby came out looking.
Right.
They don't like you, and the men that you might have contact with, and maybe don't, and you never know.
Right. Might have been a baby father that they try to holler at. You get what I'm saying? And he didn't holler back, or whatever the case was, or you feel like they might have all been at the club together, and that girl got him instead of the babysitter. You get what I'm saying? Whatever. Look, women are very jealous.
And
Hard.
Caddy,
Oh my God. Mm-mm.
body slam. I mean, not just pick the baby up and with all her might slammed him into the wall. And there's absolutely nothing. Then a lot of babies, this is something I say to anybody. And that's for anybody that's listening to this, and hopefully some other people will listen and share this. Anyone that's listening to this, if your baby or your child or children are kicking and screaming when you get ready to drop them off somewhere, don't leave them.
Right. Red flags.
Do not leave them. I don't care how sweet the old lady seems.
Right.
I don't care how nice and how cool he is to your baby. And I don't care how close of a friend it is. Something is not right.
Right.
Now, 9 times out of 10, she felt good because he was probably calling him little man and got him a little haircut, bought him an ice cream cone. So she thought everything was cool. But that ain't his child. That's something up to him. is another person's kid.
Right.
I don't give a F. The video that I did on the other day about the lady in the tennis shoes, when she was mad at her husband for buying his son a pair of sneakers, and she said you don't get him nothing because he get whatever he get out of that child support you send him. So she
Lord.
got mad and packed her husband's clothes and kicked him out the house and said, F you, F that child. No, F that child, F his mama, and F you too. And kicked him out the house. Because he bought his son some sneakers.
No. Mm-mm.
Anybody with that level of hate for your kid, you don't need to be with them. Because ain't nothing going to change after marriage. I don't care how much you do for them. Their problem is not just with you, it's with your kid and it's with his mom.
Right. I didn't play that with my kids, leaving them with this one and that one and all these other people.
My kids just got finished telling somebody about my mama wouldn't let us spend a night nowhere. No,
that part.
No,
I didn't play none of those games right there. None of them.
Don't. And people would be like, girl, you got your grandkids all the time. Yes, I do. Because guess what? I'd rather them be with me than to be somewhere right. And be touched, violated, mistreated, not talked to the right way. Yes, absolutely.
Because once something happens, it's too late. It's no going back. Once their innocence has been tampered with, once they've been abused, hurt, or whatever the case may be, it's too late. It's too late. You can't do nothing.
You can't do anything. And people are, like I said, people are just not going to be good to your babies like you are. That's your kid. You carried that baby. You pushed him and craved and all this kind of stuff. People are not kind when it comes to taking care of your children. So yes, I will go above and beyond for my grandkids. Yes, I will. I keep them when I don't feel like keeping them. Yes, I will. I'd rather do it than them to go somewhere and be mistreated, abused, neglected, yelled at, anything else. Coming back.
I think some people think it can't happen because they feel like, well, we only see that on the news, or we only, see that on TV shows.
It happens.
But no, it's real life. It happens. And I didn't think that shit happened until the news people were out in front of our building and we were having a candlelight vigil. And
your heart, girl?
It's real, it's crazy.
Didn't it hurt your heart?
It did. I mean, and that was like around like 2004, around 2004, about 2004, 2005. That's around the time it happened. And that memory is ingrained in my head. Like I can remember that like it was yesterday. You know what I mean? And you know how it goes at all funerals. The person that's carrying on the worst is the most guiltiest. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the mother and the grandmother was in there like they had completely tapped all the way out. And to me, I felt like that was a lot of guilt. The grandmother, I think, also should have had to do some time. Now they did charge her with I think like neglect, but she didn't get any time. And then the other son that she had, because remember I told you she had raised the two boys from birth or whatever. So the other boy, he had to then go into the system. But I just think that penalty for her, to me, wasn't enough, because had she took that baby to the hospital right away, it may have saved her life. But because she wanted to wait hours and hours and all of that stuff that she tried to do, and giving her a bath and trying to clean up evidence and doing all this other stuff, and having that little girl lie to the people at the hospital saying she fell down the steps and all this other kind of stuff. So yeah,
a forensic team really knows, and these people are trained to know when you're lying.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. But man, I really hate to hear that though. I really, really hate to hear that. That is just tragic.
It's a story I often share. Well, not often, because it's kind of deep for me. But that I do tell people about, because I want women to be, to understand when you have a child, that whether it's even your family, you cannot always just leave your kids wherever. you know. And I mean, I get it. That lady, she was strung out on drugs and all that other stuff. I'm not giving her a pass because I know what I witnessed and what I saw her do to those little girls was crazy. She used to have them dressed so inappropriate. That was another thing.
All right, that's
And
crazy.
it was just a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. Have you got any more updates on Nature Boy?
He went to court the other day.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he entered a not guilty plea. He still don't have any bond, and so he's still being held. I think the next thing that's coming up is probably the pre-trial hearing. Um, and in that, if there will be any plea deals or anything like that, that'll probably be presented at that point. And they'll probably have a couple of things, bring up a few other, like if they have any new discoveries or any new evidence or well that's discoveries or whatever, just any other thing. They'll probably bring all of that up, so that should probably be coming up in the next couple of months or whatever. Obviously he's going to enter a not guilty plea. That's to be expected because he's trying to fight. um,
Right.
the thing that he doesn't understand and he don't think, because he think he can outslick a slicker.
Right.
He's smarter than the average bear, so to speak. So the thing that he doesn't understand is like now they're talking about how he's organizing behind the bars, and leading people behind the bars, and got a little food, serving them, and not necessarily serving, but listening to his teachings and all this foolery.
Right.
Doesn't do anything but prove the prosecution's case in that um, he has a lot of control over the minds of people, and that he's domineering, um, that he's controlling, and he's narcissistic, and all it just proves their case. Then the fact that his women go live and try to discredit um, the victim when they know the truth.
Right. I heard the video still on Twitter, but I don't know. I never went looking for it the first go around. So
What
I
they
don't know.
were talking about the talking about the victims.
No, the video of him having
Oh yeah, probably. So I mean, once it's in cyberspace, you just you got to be wealthy to erase that.
right.
That's gonna go around. Somebody's always gonna have that. You know what I'm saying? And all they got to do
Right.
is keep. You cash out the right person, and you can get it to. Like it's like nothing that I want to see. Like I don't want to see any of that footage.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to see it either. I just didn't know when people told me that the other girls were holding the girl down and all this other stuff. I'm like, whoa, what? So that's what kind of intrigued
And
me with
that's also something because they are accomplices to a lot of the stuff.
right. And that's what I was saying. Like if that's the case, then why aren't they also being locked up? Because if you're holding somebody down so that somebody else can do that, then you're just as guilty, in my opinion, as he is. Now, and I'm not taking up for him at all. But what I will say is that when you look at a lot of these other radical, religious cult type leader people,
Mm-hmm.
look how far their situations get out of control before they actually try to take the person down or they actually make any arrests. I mean, they be having whole communities and things, you know what I mean? So it is a little strange that it's him and these women in one house versus, when it's another race, they're literally got people signing over their paychecks, men and women houses,
Bro,
all
they
their
were
ass,
doing that to him.
huh?
He was doing
Well, they didn't have nothing. What was he taking? I mean, he might have been taking a little food stamp card or something, but
that. And this is the thing. If they really wanted to get into this, they really could. Like they can get into wire fraud and everything.
Right,
Because
right,
abroad, these
right,
people were collecting military benefits.
right,
They were collecting state benefits,
right. Now that part I did hear about that. Yes.
food benefits, stimulus, and everything under false pretenses.
Right.
Not only that, a lot of them obtained PPP loans for false businesses.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so there is it's the whole thing is I believe it's
Well,
gonna get.
yeah. I mean, I guess when you start to put it that way, then yeah, I get it because that's just a lot of the government ain't about to play with their money. But I do see white people do it on a bigger scale,
Of
and it just seems like it takes him years and years. But then again, he's been doing this for years too, to be
then
honest.
they getting them on a different realm. They going Rico or something to that level.
Right.
When they do that, and when you do something like when the feds come after you, they're gonna go. They're gonna have a whole history on you. You
Right.
understand? It's not, this is a state level case. This is not Rico. It's not federal. This is not that. It's not a racketeering type of thing. But
Right.
if I have a strange feeling that if he does not go down for that, give it a minute. Give it a
You
minute.
you think he might get out? Because I was thinking that maybe the charges wasn't going to stick. I've heard a couple other people saying they
It's,
know they're going to make an
it's
example out of
tricky.
him.
It's tricky. Now, it depends, and that's where the art of selecting a jury comes in.
Right.
Because if you get some people that are very compassionate about protecting women's rights, you know,
Right.
especially right now, people are trying to make a point with this Roe versus Wade being overturned and things like that. So when you think about it from that angle, if they pick the right jury, they'll get a conviction.
Right.
Then if they get one that is thinking technical, it might slip off. You never know. I feel like they 70% got a chance of being convicted. There's a slight chance that he might not, but I think there's a 70% chance that he might be convicted. The only thing that doesn't look good for her is the fact that she went back and got this relationship with Solar, who was also a major player in that game, and the fact that the way
Right.
he's treating her right now is not looking good. The fact that their relationship right now is on the rocks, and it's not all heaven and divine like she thought it was going to be, and all, which is indeed this man is still programmed. He's not. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Two broken people make two half people, not a whole. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
So yeah, I think if it's not based on technicalities, they have a great chance of getting a conviction. Now, if depending upon the outcome and probably regardless of the outcome, they are probably behind the scenes working on a racketeering case because they can. They got a whole group of people and it's organized where these people were taking state and government benefits and using them abroad. And not only that, for the aid that they were getting to help their children are not even around.
Right. That's a whole other thing. You're right about that.
Right. And then the PPP loans and the elaborate lifestyle that he was leading on yachts and flying private and all the
Right.
things he was doing with his group. And then to
The
see
amount of donations that they were getting coming in. People talk
now
about that
let me
here
go
on YouTube,
about that.
but
What people don't understand is, Shells, is that if you are getting donations regularly like that on Cash App,
right.
you get a 1099 and you have to
Right.
file taxes on that stuff. And if you
Absolutely.
don't, they're gonna come back for you for tax fraud. So he got a whole lot of things. Then he's got to prove what he did with that money from
And
people.
he wouldn't even hardly let them eat
Hey,
without the cash apps coming in because I'll never forget when it was Malia and the other girl, I can't think of the other girl name. They had went to the store and they had spent too much money, and he went off on
I
them.
bought a stripper pole.
No, this day they didn't buy no stripper pole. This day they had bought, you know, a couple little shirts and whatever else or
Yeah.
whatever. And he was like, if so the people in the comment section was just like, what's the big deal? I told y'all only spend this amount. And I think altogether they spent like maybe $150 or some shit.
Yeah.
He ended up cussing out the supporters, and then they end up cash
Aya.
apping him.
He beat Aya. He blacked her eye.
Oh God, yeah,
He
it was
beat her. She
crazy.
was wearing glasses. He
Yeah,
beat her. He blacked her eye.
and the way he used to pin them girls to fight each other and all that other kind of crazy mess, I just whoosh,
But he
too
was
much.
beating on them and he was putting them in closets.
Child.
He put them in closets. The grown men too.
Yeah, the grown men, I have no respect for them because the way that they used to let him just basically punk him and just, oh my God, like
Was all
mm-mm.
ignorant, but you know when your mind is not your own, and each one of them have some type of mental or emotional debilitation that already makes them feel like they need someone to lead them, and they need someone, and he
Right,
happened to be the one, and he made them denounce everyone and everything around them to control. He preconditions them before they come to him.
right. Mm-hmm.
So they got, there's only a few of people that got away that actually still doing pretty okay.
Right. And sadly, if he get out to there tomorrow, you'll have 4 or 5 more lined up to go there because
There's still people
these
that see
people
they
is
was in the
nuts.
mid, and they were this one young lady. It pissed me off so bad. She was on there laughing because he was beating on Malia and talking to her,
Oh yeah.
and she was laughing, singing a song, laughing and giggling because she was getting beat and cussed out. What?
Mm-mm. Like all of them they're gonna have to sit on somebody's couch for a long time to pull it back together because they are gone.
They trying to do it because you got to remember they feel like they didn't do nothing wrong, that they good. It's just sad. The whole thing over is sad. But yeah, I think if they once they finish this, they're going to go to the next part, which is racketeering, or they're going to deal with all the money issues, and then
Right.
she can also come back whether he's convicted or not and still do a civil suit for defamation of character or something.
Right.
So there's still many
Or
other.
emotional abuse or whatever else. You know what I mean? There's so many different things that they can, the person could civilly sue him for. Yeah, and I think the R. Kelly thing that don't help it either. Like all of that stuff in the media, you know what I mean? Like
And
I
R.
don't
Kelly's
know.
done.
Yeah,
He's not even done. The suit,
yeah,
the one going through right now. He got 30 years and then whatever on top of that. So unless they allow him to, whatever the outcome of this trial is, unless they allow him to serve that time consecutively,
right.
he's not gonna get out. And it's crazy because even then, people are putting his music back in the playlist.
Oh yeah, they definitely are.
The one,
I don't think they ever really took it off, to be honest.
right, the one with the legs, something about the legs.
Oh, the TikTok one is trending right now.
It's trending.
Oh yeah, got that thing going viral. And then I heard that somewhere in there, it has something to do with Tasha K, where they were saying that he may be able to get some type of appeal because of something dealing with her. But I don't know if that's
Oh
just
yeah,
people whatever.
because the leaked information over the phone. She got some information about him over the phone, and yeah, some prison official
Right.
leak some information. Yeah, but Tasha going through her own thing, girl.
Child, yeah, and Cardi, she coming for another blogger. What's it, Black Tea blog or vlog or something? Um,
Blog,
what's the
is it
name?
Petty Blog? Pet T Blog. It's PET.
That
Then
might be the name of it. I heard that Cardi B supposed to be suing her next.
yeah, because that's a lot of people you see in them fears on there saying, "Yeah, I don't want to be on Petty Blog." Yeah, yeah. That's. I mean, but some of these bloggers, like I feel like some of them are really not doing a whole big offense. But if you go to doxing and putting out false information, then that's when you cross the line. But just reporting on what they say, even if they say, now word on the street is this is an alleged thing, but we don't know
Right.
or not, cover yourself that way. But to say, bro, Cardi B did this, that, and thus, you can't do that because it's unfounded. You just heard a rumor and you running with it. But people like that.
I'm here for it because people are very irresponsible in doing commentary. You know what I mean? And it's just that she has the money and the resources to deal with these people in a civil suit. So
Talking about Cardi.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a Cardi B fan.
Oh, I am too.
I'm one of those ones that when she first came out on Love and Hip Hop, I said this is the breakout star. This is the one that's gonna make. I knew from the beginning because she just got it all, and I
Right.
was following her before she put out her first thing. So she had one of those text phone number things where you can uh, subscribe to it, and she sent me a sample of her music before she came out with Bodak Yellow, whatever, all the other stuff.
Oh, okay, like a text number.
Yeah, so yeah, but I always thought that she was gonna be a breakout star. She just had that it factor. She just had
Right.
her personality, and it's natural.
It
And
really is.
then with the little sassy stuff and all that, I just knew she was gonna be. I love some Cardi B. I'm just saying. I love, and she's unapologetic. She says what she mean what she say. I just love it.
Yeah, I think she's humble and down to earth, and I think she often forgets that she's famous, just certain things that she does and how she moves or whatever. But I can respect her for, what I'm saying, laying the law down. Some people let that type of stuff slide and they have the money, but with her, she's like, no, I'm gonna make an example, out of these people or whatever. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping it all come out for the good, but as far as the Nature Boy situation is concerned, I'm just not. He had to be stopped. He was
Yeah,
just arrogant. He was going too far. He was doing way too much, Shelly. Way too much. He was just,
yeah,
to be openly abusive, to be openly disrespectful, you know, encouraging people to abandon their children and just all of it. It was just too much.
right.
It's too
And it,
much.
it was hard to stop looking. You get what I'm saying? Because it was just that level of crazy where you're like, wait a minute, this Negro for real? But
Mhm.
yeah, I agree with you. It did need to come to a stop.
I looking at the lies, and I would just look at the TV or whoever else reported on it. And like I would watch the live sometime, and I found myself hating him. And
Right.
I don't want to sit up and just hate nobody, but I found myself hate and then like True girl, I can't stand looking at that man. He is
Right.
just so demonic looking to me.
I can't cope with none of the men. Just the fact that they would even allow that type of stuff to go on or that they participated in it. Now, Young Pharaoh was another one. I started watching Young Pharaoh because of my youngest son.
I'm
Um,
disappointed in him. I
Me
was really
too.
disappointed in him. I held him at a high regard. in the
I
beginning.
did too. I don't know.
I think he got tweaked on something though,
They
Shelly.
say them shrooms or whatever,
Yeah, I think he got tweaked on something.
but
Well,
somewhere along the line he lost it because he was not like that at first, you know. But then they said he was fresh out of jail too. So, you know, when people fresh out of jail, you know, they kind of come out and they all in the, you know, Black Power movement and
and he
everything.
became into all this youth, this influencer money, and
Right.
because his music don't sound good at all.
None of their music sound good, but I actually I can give Nature Boy credit. Them girls in them, they can sing. A lot of them girls that was with Nature Boy had talent, whether
Yeah,
it was painting, music. They could have been doing anything, but they chose to be doing that dumbness.
yeah,
They could have been doing anything.
yeah. But
That's what makes it sad.
I hate he discouraged them with not, but like what I think her son is probably in the best situation because she was prostituting anyway. You know,
Right.
on drugs and prostituting, so she wasn't really doing a lot. Malika was, I mean, Tanisha was actually with her son, though. You know,
Just sad.
yeah, a lot of them turned away and walked away from their children. Then you have other people like Star and Bambi and all of those other ones that walked away and left their children, but he wanted his kids there.
Right.
You know, and then he has a history because he beat his ex-wife. He beat her bad. He almost killed that girl.
Well, look at the ones that was pregnant 1 minute, not pregnant the next minute, and all that other kind of
Oh yeah,
crazy
they drunk tea. That
during the
abortion.
pregnancy.
Yes,
Oh, child, what happened?
they
He beat.
drunk.
Don't.
You know, there's some type of tea that he was giving them.
Oh, they. Child. Mm-mm.
Yes, Efru did it twice.
Oh my
Because
Lord!
when she got there, she was a virgin.
Wow, absolutely madness.
Yes, she drank the tea twice.
Now,
And
people was disagreeing with me, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
the other girl, the one that need help, mental help, bad. I see her face. I can't call with Solar. The baby that was with Solar.
I can't think of her name either, but I
Uh,
know who you're talking about.
Girl, I can't stand when it happened. But she, Zoka,
Oh,
she
Zoka, yes, Zoka. Zoka was the one. Wasn't Zoka like 8 months pregnant though?
no, she was full term. I think the baby had fetal alcohol syndrome, I believe, because she was drinking. He made her
Oh,
get drunk. He
oh
put
my God.
he made. You remember when think back when Pisces girl was there and pregnant. You remember he made her jump off that waterfall, and
Child.
she was pregnant. She was scared, and he went off on her and made her jump off of that waterfall while she was 6 months pregnant. He's
Child.
evil and calculated. He's evil.
Yeah, he
But
really is.
she drank. They said she drank like 6 or 8 shots back to back.
Wow.
And anybody knows that, okay, with someone who is pregnant, your hormones are already out of whack. For somebody who is mentally unstable and pregnant,
Right.
even for someone who is mentally unstable, pregnant, and using some type of substance, that's why she hasn't come back. Before she can hide it,
Right.
but she can't come back from it now because she is really messed up.
But what happened to the baby then? I mean, because I'm saying full term pregnancy, where did the baby go? In the dirt? I mean, I'm confused.
She went to the hospital. She had the baby, and the baby was born dead.
Oh, so she actually, okay, okay. So she actually went to the
And the
hospital.
hospital
Okay.
got rid of the baby.
Wow.
And that's something.
That is
Even
crazy.
though I don't have a service or anything for that baby.
Mm-mm-mm.
Which is why Solar is hurt and why she is like, I didn't want it anyway.
Wow. But I think some women will say something like that as a self way to
Coping
self
mechanism.
coping that, yeah, to fool their self into saying like, oh, I didn't want it anyway. Well, nah, if he would have been all for it, you would have been all for it. But that's what you had to convince yourself of. I think that's what was going on.
And her uncle is a famous rapper. I can't think his name right now, but
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, he's a famous rapper. I can't think of his name right now, but oh my god. But yeah, he's a famous rapper, and I think her dad is into music too. And when she left, her dad was really, really sick, like real low sick. And yeah, she snuck out the house and left. Jayon, her real name is Jayon.
Oh, Jayon. Okay.
Benny something. Is it Benny something or something? Her uncle's name is. I can't think of it right now. But when I think of it, I'll let you know.
I hope his name wasn't Benji Myers.
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh my God. His stage name. Benny something. Um. Oh girl.
A
But
lot of people disagree with me, but I felt like I feel like these people or girls, whatever, their issue started at home. Because
mhm.
I just think if you grow up with self-love, a fool like him shouldn't be able to just come over and just whisper whatever in your ear or treat you any
But
old
not
kind of way.
because hey, I need the ice, and you gonna mess around and gotta go. Some of that is not necessarily true because a lot of them, some of them came from really good families. Not totally like everything perfect, but they came from really good supportive families. Like Kendra, car key. Oh my God, Kendra. What's her name? One that was with True, Sheba. She had a real
Yeah.
background. Tron was adopted by a white family, I believe, and he was with a wealthy family. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
don't know what in the world was going on with them because I just could never understand why they would subject themselves to such.
yeah, some of them just they just rebel, and some of them the mental things that they were.
Or Velvet, she left him alone to get with another person or whomever, and then she didn't know who the second baby father was. And
Oh, with Sheba,
no, Velvet, his Nature Boy's baby mother, Ileana, his mother. Yeah, she ended
yeah,
up, having that second baby, but she didn't even know who the father was.
she knew. They just didn't know.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Is that what it was? Okay.
but they didn't know. They see he was and girl, he was tripping about that.
Yeah, he was.
He didn't want that girl back because he loved her.
Right.
He
Control
wanted
issue.
her back so he could control the situation.
Wow.
We're upstairs to get the
Just a mess.
it's 2 packs. Hurry up, please. My son being so silly. And I'm gonna beat your tail you go out there with no shoes on again, bro. It's big old he's like 13, he almost 6 feet.
That's how these kids be these days. Shoot, my youngest is taller than me. He's six
Really,
something. Mm-hmm.
girl. I'm so in love with my children, my grandchildren. I love them so much, girl. But baby, they give me a last and
That's the only thing I'm waiting to become as a grandmother. My kids like, Mom, we ain't thinking about no kids right now. Well, at
girl,
least my daughter anyway.
15, almost 16 times over.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am. I got a lot of grandbabies, but I have 6 kids,
that's a blessing.
3 biological, 3 adopted.
Oh wow.
Yep. And the youngest two are the only two without children. My oldest four, they all got kids. My oldest son, I don't know when he gonna stop.
Shoot, my daughter told me to leave her because I think I threatened them so bad when they were young, where I was like, "You better not come home pregnant." This, I think I threatened them so bad that once they became of age, they was just like, "We ain't tripping."
Mm-mm.
And I can get wanting to live your best life and everything, but I'm like, look, you getting at a certain age now. It's about that time to start thinking about it.
And they all have so much personality.
Right.
I can't wait until like I really want to do a channel with just my grands. When I tell you that would be the most funnest thing in the world because
You
they are
should.
all talented, gifted, silly, animated. I'll be the last one up. It was two packs in this, wasn't it? Yes, it was. It was two packs of this. Still on the state. Is it? Go get it, Lisa. Dang, I thought I had another pack of short ribs. I guess not. Darn. Oh well, I guess I better get myself off here and go ahead and get to cooking if I'm gonna cook today because it's
I know that's right. What time is it where you're at? It's 6:05 here.
6:05 here too.
Oh boy.
I have get
Okay.
done in about an hour.
Okay. Well, it
A
was nice talking to you.
whole meal I have it done in an hour. Oh, that is steak. Yep. I guess. So do you want to make it? Back up. I don't know. Stop yelling at me. I'm sorry, my rude son. I appreciate you for
No,
joining
you
me.
fine. Thank you for having me.
I think the other I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna probably come back and do a live on the other topic because this one was needed. Everybody needed to hear this one, and I appreciate your input. It was
Yeah,
valid.
that was pretty, and I pray for your friend and just her peace of mind, because I don't even losing a child is already hard enough, but under those circumstances, I couldn't imagine. So I'll keep them in my prayers as well. And again, thank you for having me. Bye bye.
The service is Saturday, so yeah. All right, y'all. I'm appreciative for Miss Shelley coming in and dropping in with me. I am so grateful she did, and to Miss Deanna Urban and everybody else that stopped through. Anyone that's listening on the replay, please click like, share, and support this channel. My cash app is rolling across the bottom. Thank you for all of your support, and I love you on purpose. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Later for now.